Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I welcome you to Entrepreneur Empowered. I'm your host, Sid Pedinti, aka the Entrepreneur's Attorney. You are now tuned into Bashani Radio, iHeartRadio Worldwide, or you may be listening to us on YouTube or watching this on our website. Wherever you are, wherever time zone you're located in, I welcome you to the show today. Over the past few weeks, we have been working with a variety of entrepreneurs who've had just brilliant ideas, experiences. They've had a lot of talents and skills that they have felt were unused, were unutilized, were undermonetized. And we've been helping them understand the process on how they can take these ideas and transform them into actual products and services and how to build a business around the whole concept. So today, I want to introduce you to a simple checklist that I created for you. And the follow up to the checklist, the reason I created this is we sat down and we started thinking about the different programs that we offer and analyzed and did some research on the programs that are out there in the marketplace and figured out that there's a big gap in a few areas. Number one is access to the right information that entrepreneurs like you and I need to understand, need to learn, and need to implement in our businesses so that we have good, solid foundation, as well as we have the right strategies, the right tools, and the right network around us to help us make these decisions, right? Make the right decisions. So, what we realized was there's a big gap in number one, the overall education in terms of what an entrepreneur needs to know. There's too many courses that are focused on very specific aspects, which is great, but because there's a lack of general 360-degree view, right, and holistic perspective of business ownership, many entrepreneurs, many business owners are still confused when it comes to the overall business strategy, overall legal strategies, and overall comprehensive marketing strategy, and also in terms of technology, how to use technology the right way. So, in today's show, we're going to explore those four concepts from a holistic perspective so that by the end of the show, you have a crystal clear idea of these four pillars that run your business, that power your business, that hold your business together as part of your foundation, right? The business strategy, the legal strategy, the marketing strategy, and also the technology, the administrative, the expansion strategy, which goes into that. So let's go ahead and get cracking today. Remember, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any specific things that you'd like to run by me or run by my team, we're more than willing to help you out, figure these things out in your business. As we explore the concepts today, I do apologize if I go a little fast. I have roughly 50 to 60 minutes with you here today, and I'm going to do my best to deliver as many of these concepts in an organized fashion. If you're watching the video, you can see us. If you're hearing us, I welcome you to go to the video so you can take a look at the actual workshop that we have here and the checklist so you can understand what we're talking about and develop this framework in your own business. Okay, I'll leave the link at the end of this website. It's Entrepreneur Empowered. Once again, um, I'll give you a second so you can pull up a sheet of paper, perhaps a pen. As we walk through these concepts, go ahead and write these things down so that you can implement them in your business. So let's start off with business strategy, the first circle that you see here. A business strategy relates to four or five very specific concepts. So let's start off with the right structure, right? Are you operating with the right business structure? Are you set up the right way? Are your clients the ideal type of clients that you'd like to attract in the marketplace to your business? These are some of the things I want you to think about when we talk about business structure, right? Would you like to operate in a niche industry? So are you picking a specific vertical that you'd like to go after first, or would you like to have a broader database of clients that you can service? These are some of the things you want to think about. Would you like to structure your business in a way where it's exclusive to one-on-one clients, or would you like to have group seminars, group workshops, or host group programs? Right? Are you able to scale your business in a way that you can serve and help multiple people at the same time? These are some of the things you want to think about. And based on your business model, these may be possible. So, for example, if you're in the coaching industry, if you have a digital marketing service, or if you have some other professional service, it is possible for you to make a small strategic shift in the way you operate, where you can go from serving one on one, where you're dealing with one on one clients, to attracting or serving people in masses, right? One of those shifts may be to offer programs or courses similar to the one you're listening today in a show, right? We host a show which we talk about specific courses. What we have here today is a crash course in the 360 perspective of business. So these are some of the things you can implement in your business as well. These small strategic shifts will help you make that model where you're able to serve multiple people at the same time. Now remember, when it comes down to the actual conversion, it can still be one-on-one, so you're not jeopardizing any privacy or other issues. But it's the way you attract your client is what I'm talking about when I talk about structure and making a small strategic shift so that you're able to spread your message and attract the right clients in the masses. Okay, the other thing you want to think about is whether you want your business to be something that offers services and solutions in real time, right? So as you consult with a client one on one, or is it something that you can digitize and sell forever, right? Again, it's, for example, a course or a video or audio that is going to be streamed, like today's show, where I can use this particular video and audio forever, right? Make a course out of the concepts we're talking about today. And so that small strategic shifts in focusing an energy on digitizing your knowledge, digitizing your ideas, digitize your products and services will help you leverage and use technology in a way that you can sell your products forever, automatically, behind the scenes, 24 hours a day without you being there. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. From a client perspective, let's move on to the big number two. So that's business structure. Number two is clients. Who are the right clients for your business, right? I want you to think about an age range. I want you to think about the education level. I want you to think about the income that your ideal clients generate every year, the household income. I also want you to think about the specific resources that your ideal clients are looking at when they're seeking answers, right? So in your business, whatever service you're offering, whatever products you are offering to the marketplace, to your clients, they're looking for this information somewhere. So identify those points, whether it's online, whether it's a specific platform. It could be a social media platform. It could be on Google. It can be on reputable sites in the industry. It may be an official journal that your ideal clients are looking for when they look for specific answers, right? So identify those things in your business, identify those in your industry, because these are going to be the targeting options when you're looking to attract the right clients. The more specific you are, the more structured you are, and the more information you have, right? So data, the more data you have in your client, the easier it is for you to pinpoint them with more accuracy. Let's move on to the business model. Okay, so we talked about structure in terms of the way you operate. We talked about client, who you like to welcome to your business and serve. Let's talk about the business model, right? Is your business one that can be digitized and sold online, right? Can you service clients via webinars, or is it a product that can be drop shipped to them, right? Or sold to them directly? Is it something that a client would have to walk into your office or your store to pick up? So these are the things I want you to think about, because the way you operate and the way you set up is going to determine your model, which is also going to go in and later determine the way you get into different transactions, right? So model makes a big difference, right? So what you might want to do is have a combination of in-person and digitized way to sell your goods and services, right? Or programs, courses. If you have a software, even software, right? You can have workshops where people are attracted to your business, and from there digitize them so that you can deal with them online. So these are two different ways that you can combine or fuse ways to deal with the clients online and offline, and combining those strategies. The next thing I want you to think about is pricing. How would you price your goods and services? Are you servicing something that is a ticket item, as they call it right now, which is generally something that ranges under $1,000, or is it a high ticket item where your goods and services cost more than $1,000? It may be, and also in the model that goes into pricing is it something that is a one-time transaction, or is it a recurring model? Right? These are things you want to consider as well as incorporate into your overall strategy. Ideally, right, you want to have a mix of both, where you're able to service a client for one-off products or one-off services and transactions. At the same time, have a subscription-based model, right? A monthly retainer sort of model, or contracts that would have monthly transactions, which all these are ways to increase your overall cash flow. So you want to have a combination of them. That way you have multiple offerings even with the same client, as well as have multiple offerings which different things, as you know, appeal to different clientele. So a person who may not be interested in a one-off product, a one-time transaction, may in fact be interested in something long-term, where you can charge a monthly transaction, right? A recurring revenue setup, rather than having the one time. And as time goes on, maybe there's services that come up that require the one-time deal, right? Maybe it's something that you can charge a lump sum for. So these are ways for you to set up your business with the right structure, with the right type of client, so that the pricing as well makes sense, the model makes sense, and you're able to have multiple offerings to the same clients, and have offerings that appeal to different demographics. Okay? Let's talk about a forecast, which is the next step here in trying to determine your overall business strategy. So we've talked about the structure, and hopefully you have a mix of one that is online, offline, as well as one that services local, international, and multiple clients from different demographics. We talked about the client and how to identify them with a laser beam. We talked about your business model, and we briefly talked about pricing and how you set up your pricing structures, where you have low ticket items as well as the high ticket items, allowing you to have a mix of both of these strategies. The next step is to figure out your budget or your overall forecast. Try to set up in a way so that you have consistency in your marketing, so that you have consistency in the way you're attracting the right clients, as well as converting them, so you have more predictability at the end of the day, right? And as you see here on the screen, forecast goes also into the way your advertising campaigns are going to be set up later on, your internal mechanisms, so you have a way to allocate your revenue in a better mechanism, you have more diverse assets. You have a variety of diverse assets that can help you leverage the existing products and services in a different way. So, as you're forecasting, what I want you to think about for a second is the way you're going to attract clients and determine generally out of three options which you'd like to incorporate in your business. There's a free way to do it. That's through word of mouth, through referrals, through connections and networking, which absorb a lot of time. If you're in the startup phase and you're looking to attract clients immediately to your business, you may want to consider paid advertising, which is the quickest way to fill the funnel, right? There's also a combination of having both of these using certain technologies in the marketplace where you're able to attract clients at the first step and have them refer clients to you, have them share your information, have certain campaigns and other material that you develop go viral, so to speak, right? So those are some of the things I want you to think about. In terms of setting up and in terms of forecasting from a monetary perspective, so that you can allocate your capital and resources more effectively, I want you to work sort of backwards, right, when you're determining a goal. So come up with a figure. Let's take $100,000. If that's the goal for the year, then you're going to figure out how many transactions you need to hit that on a yearly basis. So if your products are $1,000, you need 100 transactions to make $100,000 in revenue, right? Now, you want to consider the advertising cost. You want to consider the time that's involved in these. You want to consider technologies and other cost perspective. Now you're talking revenue and you're talking profit. So think about these things and get really focused on coming up with numbers as a yearly number, as a monthly number, perhaps even a weekly number, so that you can use those to predict advertising and marketing costs and plan yourself so that you're consistent in these efforts. Okay, so for example, if you know it is going to cost you $100 to get a transaction, right, where the $100 is going to produce $1,000 transaction for you. So the customer cost acquisition is $100 per customer. You want to make yourself position yourself in such a way that for $100,000 in revenue, you need 10 grand, right? So if that's for the year, then you want to work backwards. You need roughly $800 to $1,000 a month to get the revenue you're looking for, right? So budget yourself in a way that you're able to hit the targets consistently and you're not going to run out of your budget ahead of time, right? Be consistent. Every month, go for that. Hopefully, that gives you a brief and holistic perspective on business strategy in terms of how to structure your business so that you have the right setup. How do you set up the right clients so that you're only dealing with the A-list, the absolute clients that you want to deal with, the perfect client. And the way to do that, again, is to be as specific as possible when you're in the attraction process. We talked about the model, whether you want to be online or offline, whether you want to be live or digitized, right? Or 24/7 or automated. So this determines the overall theme here is manual versus automated. Which sort of business model would you like to incorporate? We talked about pricing where you have a mixture of the low ticket items plus the high ticket items, the one-offs, the lump sum payments, as well as subscription-based model where you have a combination fuse into of these concepts into your business for consistency and predictability, right? That way you're hitting different segments of the market and appealing to different demographics with different price discrimination strategies, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. We talked about forecasting so that you have a budget in place and you can be consistent in your efforts and set up your business in a way that you're not going to run short of budget, as well as you have a go-to-market plan that's going to be consistent, that can help you accomplish your goals, your revenue goals. So that's your overall business strategy. Let's move on to the next big segment. And here we're going to talk about legal strategy. So I want you to draw another big circle. as you see here on the screen, that intersects your business strategy. In the legal strategy, there are 7 concepts we're going to briefly go over today. After working with almost 6,000 people over these past 12 years in different strategic roles, which involves bankruptcy, involves technology, involves intellectual property, and business strategy, what I've realized is legal strategies is an area which is not only confusing but overwhelming for most entrepreneurs. Information here is very specific that cannot be played around with, right? One small mistake in your contract, in the way you set up your business, in the way you're entering transactions can cost you a lot of money, right? Small mistakes can have major consequences in when it comes to business strategy. So what I want you to think about as we explore these concepts are 7 key strategies, and go ahead and write them down. So in the legal strategy, we have number 1, legal structure. Number 2, we have asset protection. Number 3, we have risk mitigation. We have intellectual property as number 4, regulatory issues as number 5, ethical considerations as number 6, and contracts and agreements as number 7. Okay, so let me go over that again. And then, I'm sorry I didn't do this for the business strategy, so let me just briefly do that. If you haven't had a chance to write this already, your business strategy has 6 main components. Number 1 is structure. Number 2 is your client model. Number 3 is your overall business model. Number 4 is your pricing structure. Number 5 is your financial forecast. And number 6 is your setup of your budget. Okay, so in the legal, once again, we have legal strategy, asset protection, risk mitigation, intellectual property, regulatory, ethical considerations, and contracts and agreements. So in your legal structure, number 1, what is it that you need to understand, right? What is it that you need to do as a business owner so you're operating the right way? So if you are a sole proprietor, or if you have in a partnership, or you may have an LLC, or you may even have an incorporation. Are you operating in the right legal structure is a key question that you have to determine. You may be in an incorporation where an LLC would have sufficed, or you may be operating with a general partnership agreement. Meanwhile, your business structure is set up like an LLC, right? So there's many considerations that you have to account for, especially as you start dealing with different partners, as you start dealing with different entities, as you start dealing with internal and external contracts, right? With employees, with co-founders, with investors. You may be in a position where you are getting into joint venture deals, and your legal structure is one that's operating as a partnership where you're trying to give away shares of a partnership, right? It's a tricky situation. You may be uh, you may be getting investors on board and playing around with the cap table, right? Giving shares, taking away shares based on arbitrary numbers, arbitrary logic. So are these going to suffice in your papers, right? These are questions that come up in lawsuits most of the time. When a business shuts down and your all the assets are on the table in a liquidation position, right, where all things have failed, the legal structure is going to determine which partners get what percent of equity, what percent of the proceeds off the business, if any. So you want to make sure your structure is correct, your paperwork is on point, you're operating with the right disclaimers, with the right regulatory checks in place. Okay, so I would advise you to go seek the advice of an attorney near you if you want more information on whether you're set up the right way, right, in your jurisdiction. Maybe they can help you with that. You can even go online and perhaps do some more research to figure out if you're operating the right way and figure out based on transactions that are occurring in your business, do you have all the different asset protection measures, which is number 2, right, in place? Do you have all the risk mitigation strategies incorporated into your contracts? Number three, these are very important for you to consider as a business owner, where the more business you get into, the more transactions you enter into, the trickier these concepts get, and the more attention you have to pay to them so that small mistakes do not have major consequences. Okay? Um, in terms of asset protection, you want to think about three things. You want to think about the commercial assets that you've developed in your business, things that are possibly intellectual property, concepts like your business name, your website, programs, services, even products. These are assets. These are commercial assets that have specific value in the marketplace. These are the things you want to protect from all sides. Your business name, your website URL, the content on your website, um, different programs and services that you've come up with, the transactions that you enter into, the information that you publish, right? These are commercial assets that you want to protect in the marketplace. And so, how do you do that? Well, one way is to capture those in contracts. The second way is to register intellectual property filings where you can, right? That's the great thing about it. You can register your idea with someone and protect it legally for less than $1,000, right? It bars anybody in the U.S. from copying those ideas, expressing those, from changing those, from using and abusing those. So these are very powerful concepts that have been designed to help entrepreneurs, to help business owners like you and I, to protect their ideas so that others are not going to jeopardize their business, right? So that's asset protection. You want to make sure you have all the different parties. Here's a way to start. List all the parties you're currently transacting with or you may transact with. So it can be employees, it can be interns, it can be contractors, it can be vendors, suppliers, manufacturers, it could be third parties who are the outsourcing that you hire, right? It could also be your marketers or strategists, your coaches. It could be an investor or a pool of investors that you're dealing with, or somebody from your business incubator or accelerator who have shares in your company, right? Is your intellectual property, are your ideas safe from these parties? Ask yourself that. Dig into your business, analyze the contracts, go over agreements to figure out if they are in fact protected from all sides. You'll thank me later, I promise you. In terms of risk mitigation, which is number three, I want you to think about again the parties that you listed and the different ways that these parties can impact your business. Whether it's a lawsuit, whether it's stealing your ideas, whether it's becoming a competitor, whether it's trading your trade secrets and selling them to competitors, whether it's using proprietary knowledge that they have gained by working with you, right? Or alongside you or working for you. How do you protect different parties from abusing this information that they've gained, right? So those are the risk mitigation strategies. And again, contracts, NDAs, agreements, non-disclosure clauses, clear scope and understanding. These are the ways to do that. Number four, intellectual property. I want you to analyze what intellectual properties you have already created in your business and whether or not they are in fact protected from all sides, whether or not you can register them with the right governmental agencies in the US, in your state, or even internationally, right? There's collaboration on intellectual property rights from different aspects, from different regulatory bodies across the globe. And for, like I said, for a few $1,000s, you can have your ideas protected worldwide. So if you value your idea and you think your ideas and your business is valued at 100,000 or $1 million, why would why wouldn't you spend a few thousand protecting them internationally or at least nationally to start off? Okay, so these are things that have a lot of importance uh, for you as a business owner, and you need to understand these strategies to be able to make the right moves. In terms of regulatory issues, I want you to think about the different parties, which also spells into number 6 here, which is ethical considerations, right? If you're operating in a profession that's regulated, then how do you mitigate the different risks with the regulatory bodies so that number one, you are in compliance. Number two, there's no ethical factors. Number three, there's going to be no surprises later on as you're operating a business. Okay, so these are ethical and regulatory considerations. Make sure you read the rules concerned to these topics. Make sure you analyze the different risks that are available, the penalties if you don't have those risks and mitigation strategies in place, and really dig down into figuring out whether or not your business is in compliance. Again, your legal structure plays a big part into this. So ensure that you're operating with the right legal structure. For example, in California, professional law firms or other businesses may not operate under a LLP, a licensed professional model. When other states you can. An LLC, right? They have to operate as a limited liability partnership. So these are different considerations you need to be aware of before you go ahead and register the wrong type of legal structure for your business, because they may come back and bite you, especially with the regulatory bodies are involved and ethical considerations have to be taken into place. So the last one, number 7, is contracts and agreements, which are the different mechanisms that capture all the strategies we just talked about, right? So ensure that you dig really deep into all the contracts that you have, analyze which ones are applicable, and if all the terms, the disclaimers, the different rules and regulations, the different transactions that you may enter into, the different risks that you have in your business are in there, the terms are in there, and they're captured the right way. Okay, so that's for legal strategy. So as a quick recap, we have the 7 points here again. Number 1, legal structure. Number 2, your asset protection strategies. Number 3 is your risk mitigation strategy. Number 4 is your intellectual property game plan. Number 5 and 6 relate to regulatory and ethical issues. And number 7 is contracts and agreements. So make sure you have these listed. Think about them in your business. And if you have any questions relating to these topics, feel free to drop me a quick line as you see my information here on the page or on the show, or join us on the Facebook for Entrepreneur Empowered. Look up the group and make sure you ask a question there. I'll make sure to answer it. Let's dive into number 3, core strategy, which is a marketing strategy. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points listed here. I'll briefly talk about these. The first one is your Facebook strategy. Number 2 is your Google strategy. Number 3 is YouTube. Number 4 is local listings. Number 5 is traditional. Number 6 is word of mouth. Then we have joint ventures, and lastly, strategic partnerships. These are different marketing options that you have as we speak, which are the easiest low-lying fruit, things that can be executed in the next week. So in terms of Facebook, deploying the Facebook strategy for your business, attracting the right clients. Earlier, we talked about the different client demographics and how you pinpoint those clients and understand who they are. In the Facebook strategy perspective, it allows you to pinpoint and target these clients with a laser beam. So use the different demographics to understand how you pinpoint those people. We have an age range, and then we have the education level, as I talked about. We have an income range if your ideal client has a specific income category or range that they develop. We have the household metrics, so if you're targeting moms, or if you're targeting college students, or people who recently got divorced, or people spending credit cards online for online purchases, or a variety of categories, over 100 categories that Facebook has compiled that have data on people using Facebook, using their data in real time that they've developed. So if you're not deploying Facebook to generate um, business for your business for your firm, think about it again. Go into the business manager, play around with it. The minimum bid is about $5 a day. If you make a post and boost it, you can even do it for $1 a day. So play around with it. Try to see if you can come up with a strategy that can be deployed to generate clients to your business. Now, keep in mind, Facebook is a social platform. It is direct response, but at the same time, it's a social play. So the thing you want to think about is the audience, your prospective clients, are not on Facebook to purchase something, but it's a great way to generate a lead, to spark interest. And then it's setting up the systems behind the scenes to convert them, to warm them up, or to move them down the funnel. But from the first attraction point, it's a really powerful platform to generate the right type of clients. They're spending billions of dollars to build this company. And as a small business owner, you live in a beautiful time right now, a very special time where you've finally been given access to these billion-dollar strategies that the world's largest enterprise clients are using, right? That's the beauty of the current entrepreneur business world that we live in, the digitized era. You have these platforms on your phone where you can launch an ad within 5 minutes. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and record a quick video for you that I'll launch as a follow up to this. You'll find this right underneath this particular video on how we're going to use this specific video and use that on Facebook. And I'm going to launch it through my phone so I can show you how this specific concept can be done to generate clients on demand. The next one we want to talk about briefly is Google. Again, Google's a very powerful, as you know, search engine. Here in the US is probably the top used search engine. There's different strategies that you can deploy using Google Ads to attract clients to your business. Once again, $5 I believe is a minimum that you can set up a campaign and start to figure out if you can get clients. So by deploying Facebook and Google 5 and 5, $10 a day, you can potentially use billion-dollar platforms for your business to generate money right away. So if you're thinking or complaining about not attracting the right clients, if you don't have an influx of business consistently, then these are the different mechanisms that you have to deploy, right? That we're deploying right now in our business to reach our message to the ideal clients. The next thing we want to think about is YouTube, and figure out a strategy how you can incorporate YouTube into your business. Right? Again, YouTube is owned by Google, so shooting animated videos, shooting more specialized videos, coming up with different ways to advertise keywords on YouTube can generate business to you. Once again, there's a specific strategy in place, but for $5 a day, again, here on YouTube, you can get thousands of people to view your message, to hear you, to watch you. So incredibly powerful. Think about local listings. If you're in a business that needs, if you're a restaurant or if you have a local store you want people walking into, maybe you want to deploy strategies that are related to that. For example, a Yelp or Yellow Pages, maybe a local newspaper or directory. These may still be relevant that people are using. So explore those in your local market. Figure out if one of those can be used for your business. Think about traditional advertising as well, right? Which is still very prevalent. I'm talking about snail mail, I'm talking about flyers, I'm talking about radio, television, right? Local bus stop listings. There's a variety of them that entrepreneurs are still using, businesses are still deploying. So in your business, does this apply? Think about that. What about word of mouth referrals? Do you use a lot of word of mouth? Is your business one that generates clients through referrals? Think about it in your business and figure out if there's a way to generate more clients, right? And how do you use the different platforms I just talked about, Facebook, Google, YouTube, or local listings, to generate word of mouth referrals? So there's strategies in place that you can deploy where you are using these platforms on the first side, and on the back end, you are deploying various technologies so that referrals can be generated automatically. Okay, so there's a lot of questions that may come up here on specific integration so that you can have a consistent flow using offline and online, as well as inbound and outbound strategies. Okay, does that make sense? In your business, you want to be comprehensive. You want to have the different strategies that have a consistent flow of clients coming in, and it's important to incorporate all the ones that I just listed over a period of time. You may start with one, figure it out, but over a period of time, figure out the strategy that works for you and incorporate these together so that they can operate behind the scenes automatically. Excuse me. The last two we're going to talk about is joint ventures and strategic partnerships. They sort of go hand in hand, but they're two different beasts altogether. The core premise is for you to find out the different associations, the partners, the model that can help you leverage the existing skills of others, right? So it's about tapping into databases, tapping into people who have talents, and monetizing that. And so think about the different associations that may in fact be um, developing a database of clients that you're looking for. So it may be specific associations. Maybe you can have a free workshop or a free lecture to some of them about your services. Maybe you can have a cause that you promote. Maybe there's associations and universities that you can go volunteer with. So do some research about those and figure out which strategic associations and partners you can tie up with who can promote your message to the masses, right? So that's for marketing strategy. You as a business owner have to understand all these in order to compete in the present marketplace, to be relevant, to be able to gain the competitive advantage. There's a lot of realtors and different accountants and even attorneys recently who I've met with who struggle when it comes to marketing, especially in the digitized era where they have put all their eggs in one basket, still operating heavily in a traditional market where it's through Yellow Pages or TV, radio, spending big bucks, right? And as um, margins start to diminish, they're in trouble. So think about having diverse revenue streams and diverse ways to attract clients so that your business can be recession proof over a period of time. Let's talk about the last strategy, technology. There's different areas that you need to identify in your business so that you can make the right decisions with technology, expand it the right way. There's an administrative edge to it. So think about how you keep internal documentation, internal contracts in play, time limits. You may have certain regulations in your industry, so think about the specific industry-specific technologies that you may need to incorporate. Do some research about those things. There's financial and tax-related technologies and softwares that you may need to incorporate and file to be compliant, as well as employee and contractor related technologies that if you're dealing with them, you may need to keep in track with hours and logs. So do some research about those to figure out if you have those in place. Marketing technology automation go, as you know, a big part of today. So figure out which ones apply to your business, right? Um, there's a variety in the marketplace, a variety of tools that you can incorporate which have a lot of these different systems that have tracking mechanisms, that have analytics, that allow you to scale your business and almost be operating in an automated fashion. So those are some of the ways you can expand your business quickly, scale it using automation, using marketing. Okay, so that's an overall comprehensive checklist that we walked through today. Um, And if you're looking for the checklist, I'm sorry, I never gave that to you. For technology, we have 7 items here on the technology that you need to understand and research. Number 1 is administrative. Number 2 is industry specific technologies. Number 3 is financial and tax. Number 4 is employee and contractor. Number 5 is marketing. Number 6 is automation. And here again, we're talking about email automation as well. And number 7 is expansion and scaling technologies. So there you have it, a holistic 300-degree perspective, 360-degree business checklist and perspective on the strategies that impact your business, the business strategy, the legal strategy, the marketing strategy, and the technology strategy. As I mentioned to you earlier, over the last few weeks, we've had so many entrepreneurs come and ask us questions relating to this, and many of them have been the same questions. Now, I've been operating a bankruptcy and a business law firm for almost 12 years in different countries, and one of the things I've realized is these are the questions that come up over and over again in terms of business modeling, in terms of regulatory issues, in terms of contracts, right? In terms of how do I market myself? How do I expand my business? How do I become more efficient? How do I automate myself so that my marketing can be operating behind the scenes 24/7, so that the sales are automated, where you're not pushing yourself, that you can focus on your art, right? Whatever you're offering, bettering your products and services, bettering the quality, increasing your reach. These are the concepts, these are the things that you, the business owner, the entrepreneur, want to be focused on. The nitty gritty of operating a business is tricky. So what we've done is created a program. We've tested different price points, and I think we've finally created a program that can where we can answer these questions real time and help you understand these concepts in your business as they occur. Excuse me. So this is how it works. It's you have 2 live strategy sessions every month, 90 minutes to 2 hours. So every 2 weeks we meet online, and I'm going to post the details for you here. We meet online to discuss any of these strategies. So as you're operating your business, any questions that relate to any of the concepts that I've listed here, or anything else that I've not listed here in your business as they come up, are things that you need answers to so that you can make the right decisions. So whether it's business strategy, how to attract the right clients, how to position yourself in the right way, how to structure the right products and services, how to set up the right way, how to create a budget, how do you pinpoint clients with more accuracy, whether it's legal concepts in terms of asset protection, in terms of risk mitigation, in terms of intellectual property or contracts, in terms of technology, where it's administrative, whether it's marketing or scaling or digitizing yourself, or even in terms of marketing, whether it's Facebook related, Google, word of mouth, or strategic partnerships. These are concepts that you need answers to right away. And that's how the program works. We meet online twice a month, 2 hours. You come up with a question. My team and I are going to be here to walk with you in real time to discuss these answers and help you solve them in real time, so that at any given time you're no more than a week away from the answers you're looking for. We're going to have a group that we welcome you to join, Entrepreneur Empowered. The link is posted here. Go ahead and post your questions. We're going to be on the group as well. The cost of the program is $1,500, so it's $500 a month. And you get all the material. We have the different courses. We have different templates available for you that explain each of these strategies in more detail, so that you can build and incorporate the right structure into your business with all these different strategies, as well as operate them, test them out in the market with your clients. And as questions come up, we're going to work together as a group to solve them in real time, twice a month, right? In addition to the online Facebook group, where there's already a lot of engagement, where people are getting answers to the questions they have. So $500 a month. If you're interested in the program, go ahead and fill out the form. I've attached the link here that gives you a more in-depth analysis of how the program works. I've attached a few questions that I'd like you to answer relating to some of these topics so we can understand where you are right now in your business and figure out the strategies that you need to bring you up to speed and help you scale. Okay, so that's Entrepreneur Empowered. That's the process of getting empowered is getting the answers to the questions you have. And with that, we are here at the end of today's show. I hope to see you online. Once again, I am attorney Sid Pedinti, the founder of California Law Services. That's the name of my law firm. Please go ahead and look it up, californialawservices.com. If you have any specific questions, you are now here with Entrepreneur Empowered, and I welcome you to go ahead and join the business implementation program that I just talked about. $500 a month. We talk about any of these strategies, whatever questions you have. We jump on there and answer them in real time. I hope to see you on the other side. I can't wait to share these templates with you. I've attached this for you to download, and here's the guide that you can fill out as step one, and we can take it from there. That's it for today. I will see you next week at the same time and same place. Once again, you're tuned in to Entrepreneur Empowered. I'm your host, Attorney Sid Pedinti. I hope to see you on the other side. Bye-bye.